us a little bit about what's going on here today?
Okay, we've got a lot. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of food, a lot of vegan food. There's also a lot of talks. So we've got a lot of talks going on. You can probably see one in the background. And we've got a lot of entertainment too. So it's got a kind of festival vibe to it. So yeah, very much a bit of a party.
And why did you set up VegfestUK in the first place?
Originally it was a good excuse for a party, I have to be honest, yeah, and we kind of went from there. So that was back in 2003. We had the Bez from Happy Mondays for our first VegFest. And we've sort of gone from there, and here we are, excuse me, 16 years on, and it's very much got a vegan focus now. So there's a lot of talks about veganism, exploring the philosophy of veganism, but still retaining that essential party element. And you can tell that by my Boofer Beach Bar downstairs, which I'll be off to change tunes in a minute.
And why is VegFest so important in London?
Why is it so popular in London? Yeah, it's very popular in London, I think, because there's so many people in London who are plant-based and going vegan. And also, of course, because of the accessibility for the venue. So many people, we've got 8-9 million people within a short, 45-minute tube journey from this venue. So we're lucky. We get regularly sort of 14,000 visitors over 2 days. So it's a pretty big event.
And how have you seen veganism evolve in the last few years?
Well, it's definitely going mainstream, but let's remember that with 500,000 vegans in the UK, there's still another 59.5 million to go or something. So there's a long way to go. The battle is not won. Animals are getting slaughtered in the billions more than ever before. So it's really important that we don't lose sight of the fact that whilst veganism is growing, we're way, way short of the mark yet. And with the release of the latest global warming studies, which a couple of weeks ago clearly pointed that the livestock farming is the biggest contributor, and it's the one we have to get rid of the quickest if we're to have some kind of time frame, to have a future here. The government is not responding. We're getting very poor leadership from our governments on this issue, despite the science, despite the facts. So it's about the people taking responsibility for this situation, voting with their pocket. Basically, my message to anybody, regardless of whether you're going vegan or not, is quite simply increase your plant-based options and do it pretty quickly. If you want to go vegan, that's brilliant. If you're not ready to go vegan, don't be put off. Get on a plant-based tip. Just keep buying more and more plant-based options, and in time you'll find that you probably want them animal-based less and less. So veganism is something you can do overnight. You can look at it and say, look, I do not want to use animals anymore. And the next morning you can get up and you can stop using animals. And I took that decision 35 years ago. And I'm very glad, and every day I wake up I choose not to use animals wherever practical and possible. But I do recognise not everybody is in agreement with that, not everybody feels ready for that, and indeed some people have rejected that concept and will continue to use animals. What I'd ask them to do is, for the sake of a planet, get on a plant-based tip as quick as possible, because we really do need to take action here.
So with all that in mind, what's next for you and for VegFest?
Well, VegFest will continue to represent veganism. We're representing the central tenets of veganism, which is the justice for animals, is the rights of animals not to be used. And VegFest will continue to reflect that as our core central tenet of veganism. But we will still be encouraging people with our comedians, with our musicians, with our talks on health, our talks on environment, our permaculture areas, all these things that kind of come in to help promote plant-based. So very much continue with VegFest to promote veganism. And try and bear in mind that, in the UK we're lucky most of us access food, but let's be mindful that over half the world doesn't. And we need to be working harder for people all over the world to be able to access vegan options. So basically that means a real shift in the way we're approaching veganism right now. Because right now veganism is in danger of being a little bit of a sort of white middle class type thing. And we need to make sure that those who have the least on the planet are not left out of this incredible philosophy which can really sort out so many of our problems. So that's something important to remember. the accessibility of plant-based options is a must.
So for someone who hasn't been to VegFest before, what can they expect when they come to the VegFest?
Plenty of food, lots of good times. So, it's not a scary place, VegFest. It's actually full of a lot of people who, are all different stages of their plant-based experience. Some of us have been vegan a long, long time, longer than we care to remember. But also we've got people who've never come across veganism at all, didn't even know about plant-based options. And generally speaking, people who come to VegFest for the first time find it very supportive, very warm, and really quite exciting sort of adventure, and not that kind of rather dull, sort of worthy kind of, you can't do this and that. It's more about not what you can't do. It's about what can you do. And when you open up to all these amazing plant-based options, different sensations, different tastes, textures, flavours, that's when you're finding out, wow, actually, you know what? This vegan cheesecake actually surpasses the one I've known. And some of these vegan burgers are like, whoa, I mean, we've got people down here selling vegan chicken drumsticks. So, if you're a little bit wary about all this vegan plant-based stuff, come to VegFest and come and find out for yourself just what a wonderful world that plant-based world can be.